The moral law. He'd always thought of himself as a good man. Not perfect, of course, who is? But good. I paid my taxes, held doors for people, and never cheated anyone out of anything. Decent behavior, I called it. It was just a matter of common sense. A code of conduct I'd figured out through life experience. I was a man of logic and reason. And to me, morality was just a refined form of what was useful and convenient for society. If we all acted nicely, life would be easier for everyone. Simple. I remember thinking about it as a kind of social contract. We agree not to trip each other on purpose, so we can all get where we're going. We let people sit in the train seats we got to first because, well, it's just the polite thing to do and makes for a more pleasant commute for everyone. It all made sense. Then I read that there is a real, objective moral law, and that we need to humbly admit that we fall short of it. The truth that the difference between right and wrong is not a human invention, but a real, external standard. The logic I'd so carefully built began to crumble. The examples weren't just clever. They were irrefutable. The man who takes a train seat first isn't blameworthy, but the one who steals it while you're not looking is. Both actions are equally inconvenient, but only one is morally wrong. It wasn't about convenience at all. And the man who accidentally trips you versus the one who tries to? It was the intent, the malice, that mattered, not the result. The most humbling part was the realization that I had no solid answer for the question. Why should I care about what's good for society unless it benefits me personally? My old arguments, the ones I'd been so proud of, were just a loop. They all came back to, because you ought to. My entire framework of morality, my decency, was built on an invisible, unspoken standard I hadn't even acknowledged. It was a law I was following, but didn't know the origin of. That's when it hit me. The moral law isn't a human invention. It's not something we made up for our own good. It's a real, objective standard, an ought that presses on us from outside. It's like gravity. It exists whether you believe in it or not. This realization was a gut punch. I'd spent my life thinking I was good because I followed the rules I'd created. But if this law was real, and it wasn't one I'd made, then how did I measure up? The answer was I didn't. I fell short. Every selfish thought, every moment of envy, every time I'd prioritize my own convenience over what was truly right, it all came rushing in. The grace I received wasn't a feeling of relief or a pat on the back. It was a hard, sobering conviction. By faith, I accepted the truth that there is an objective right and wrong, and I cannot fulfill it on my own. It wasn't a human law I could tweak to fit my convenience. It was a divine law I was subject to. That day, my self-proclaimed goodness was laid bare as a fragile illusion. But in its place, something new began to form. A humble acceptance of my own failure and, with it, the recognition that I needed a help I could never provide for myself. My good deeds suddenly felt small and meaningless. The grace I received by faith was the knowledge that true goodness isn't about following my own rules, but about accepting the truth of the law and finding a Savior who perfectly fulfilled it on my behalf. My heart had found its true orientation.